Hi everybody, I'm Jenzi, and this cutie pie who's fast asleep on the job over here is Bugatti. We're a service dog team based out of Phoenix, Arizona, and we are so excited to be giving you guys a new series that we're calling Molosser Monday. She's fascinated. We are really looking forward to this because a lot of the questions that you guys have been asking us have been Molosser specific. While we did do a video last year, I think, talking about Cane Corsos for service dog work, Molosser Monday will be more generalized to Molossers, what it's like living with them, and a wide variety of the breeds that fall under that group. I figured for the first video in this series, it would probably be apt to actually define what a Molosser is. In order to define what a Molosser is, I kind of have to talk a bit about breed groups. What is a breed group? Well, a breed group is a collection of dog breeds that share similar traits, characteristics, and oftentimes heritage or ancestry. Other breed groups that you're probably more familiar with are shepherds, sheepdogs, that's your terriers, and your bully breeds. Molosser is a breed group. You may be asking, well, what's the difference between a molosser and a mastiff? A mastiff is really a smaller subtype of the molosser breed group. A mastiff has those more traditional molosser type dogs that you think of when you think of a molosser. That's your English mastiff, your Neapolitan mastiff, your Cane Corsos. Molosser as a breed group actually encompasses a wide variety of dog breeds, some of which you probably didn't even realize were related. In order to more fully talk about Molossers, I also need to give you guys a wee bit of a history lesson, so buckle up, hang in there. I promise I'll make this as interesting as possible. I do want to put a note out there that Molosser type dogs have existed for thousands of years. They are often worked alongside sight hounds such as pharaoh hounds and Ibizan hounds, their ancestors. Molossers were utilized specifically for law enforcement, protection, defense, military. Molossers were the OG law enforcement dogs. Only until recently, like the last century or so, were shepherds actually the main ones utilized for this work. Prior to then, it was molossers that were the war dogs. Nowadays, shepherds have become a lot more popular for a wide variety of reasons that I can get into at another point if you guys would like. Where did the term molosser even come from if these guys have been around for a really long time? Well, the term molosser actually comes from the word molossus, that in turn comes from the ancient Greek civilization, the Molossians. These guys, I want to say, start off around the 4th century BC, and they were responsible for keeping the molossus dogs. Molossus dogs were broken down to two different types. There was the livestock guardian, so the taller, bigger, fluffier, more independent type dogs. Those were the livestock guardians. There was also the shorter, broader, more agile, more human-dependent dogs. Those are the more traditional mastiffs when you think of a mastiff. Now, both of these dogs have similar origins and were often crossbred with each other for health reasons, vitality, adaptation purposes, depending upon where the dog was specifically needed according to terrain and job work and all that fun stuff. With that in mind, know that Molosser does actually incorporate not just mastiffs, but also livestock guardians. Yes, livestock guardians are also considered molossers because they share similar heritage and also they oftentimes share a lot of similar characteristics. Now, one unique thing about mastiffs that also livestock guardians tend to share with them is their high defense drive. I'm not going to be getting into too much detail about defense drive. If you'd like me to do a whole video on this, I'll be happy to do so at another point. But for right now, I need to talk at least a little bit about it so that you guys have a better understanding of what a molosser is and what makes them unique and distinct from other breed groups. Defense drive really comes from a place of self-preservation. When a dog is afraid of something, they have two options, fight or flight. Same thing for us. Your most common response is going to be flight. The dog will cower, tuck its tail, do a lot of fearful barking, oftentimes back away. They're going to basically cower down and want to get out of the situation if there's something scary or something that is causing them to fear for their life. Now, a dog with high defense drive will be doing the exact opposite. They're going to stand their ground, raise their tail, raise their hackles, do some low growl or grumbling, and sometimes they'll even engage, which means step forward rather than back away from the stimulus. These guys are ready for a fight. I mean, just think, if a dog is afraid of something, I'd rather that dog react via fight mode than flight mode if it's supposed to be guarding a property. Now, you may be asking yourself, why don't our bull mastiffs, why don't our English mastiffs act like this? I mean, they love everybody. They love the strangers that come over. They're super chill with everyone. They don't have to high defense drive. It's called breeder selection. Over the past several centuries, the need for these war dogs, these defense dogs, have really gone out of fashion. They aren't really needed. Instead, what a lot of people want is a happy-go-lucky, easy to get along, stranger-friendly, family-friendly dog. They like the looks of the Mastiff type dogs, but they don't necessarily need the defense purposes or the law enforcement purposes that come with owning a Mastiff. So they've been selectively bred to have less and less defense drive, less prey drive, and just less engagement, less military purposes than what the breeds were originally used for. So your English Mastiffs, Neapolitan Mastiffs, your French Mastiffs, a lot of the even Cane Corsos nowadays don't really act like their ancestors used to. They actually act quite different, and they also look quite different too. Molossers traditionally were a lot more agile, a lot more leaner, and they had some wrinkles, but not to the extent that we see today. Again, this is just more of a fashion statement. We've had to sort of adapt this breed to our more current needs, which again isn't that of a war dog. I mentioned earlier that Molosser incorporates a lot of other breeds that you probably wouldn't be thinking of. One of them that I already talked about are livestock guardians. Other dog breeds would include Dogo Argentino, Doberman Pinscher, you get your Presa Canarios, your Borables, Newfoundland, Saint Bernard, Great Dane kind of seems like an obvious one, maybe not, but I'm throwing it in there anyways. All of these breeds are just a handful of the examples of dogs that you wouldn't traditionally think are Mastiffs, but they do fall under that Molosser category. Why? Well, traditionally these dogs had medium to high defense drive, which again is a huge characteristic of Molossers. They also share similar ancestry. A lot of these dog breeds were created from other Molosser dog breeds, some that still exist, some that no longer do. But it's important to still remember where these dogs came from and what breed category they fall under. I understand it. Every dog is an individual. They may have more of their breed traits, they may have more unusual breed traits. That's totally fine, and I'm not saying that this applies to every single Doberman Pinscher or every single Great Dane or every single Saint Bernard. This is just a general understanding of where the breeds came from. It's important to love our dogs where they're at and give them as fulfilling a life as possible. I'm really excited to go into more detail about Molossers and talk to you guys about other Molosser related topics. If there's anything in particular you guys would like to know about Molossers, just let me know what particular topics you guys want. Otherwise we'll just be plugging and chugging away. Before I sign off, I would love to know what your guys' favorite Molosser breed is. Go ahead, throw it out there, tell me in the comments below. This can be a dog breed you've never met before, just your dream breed, a breed you've worked. Before I sign off, tell me about it. I'm super curious which one is your guys' favorite. I love everything Molosser. Until next Monday, I'm Jenzi, this is Bugatti. Happy Molosser Monday, and we wish you guys best of health. Can you hear her snoring? She's totally passed out.